So I literally just got home from Folk Arts Rare Records and I picked up quite a bit of stuff. I only picked up 5 CDs, which is very small based on what I normally do. But this is actually probably the first time I went to Folk Arts and I didn't really find a ton of CDs that really caught my attention. I don't know, it's just one of those slow days, I guess. When I was checking out, the lady who was at the cashier basically said that they were gonna have more CDs coming in pretty soon, so I just came a bit early. So who knows, maybe later this month I'll go back and it'll be back to normal. So like I said, I only picked up 5 CDs, but I guess to compensate, I ended up buying 2 vinyl records. Yeah, I feel like it's been a long time since I actually bought records, or at least showed on camera. So that's exciting. I'm excited to show what I picked up, but I'll go through the CDs first and we'll save the records to last. Before I actually start, welcome to Bryer's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome back to another video. And if you like these record store finds videos, then please give it a like, subscribe if you are new, hit the bell so you don't miss any uploads. And until then, let's get this video started. Okay, so the first CD I'm going to show is from a very well-known band, and this is one of their kind of, I guess, maybe obscure albums. This is kind of when they weren't as, like, you know, popular, if you will. And the band's The Kinks, and I picked up, let's see if I pronounce it right, Muswell's Hillbillies. And from what I gather, this is kind of when they were kind of going for a slightly more country sound, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not sure the general consensus of this album is, but I know two of my friends Nick and Jason did the whole mini-series on the Kinks on Nick's channel, and I know it was pretty divided between the two. I think Nick really liked this album and I know Jason wasn't that into it, but we'll see how I kind of fare. Again, I've always liked the Kinks, but they've never been like a band I venture a lot into, but should be interesting to check it out. So there's the disc. There's a little inside, just kind of advertising other CDs or other albums that are kind of in this similar format that they got here. I'm trying to get the booklet out, but I'm stuck. Oh, see if we can get it out without ripping it or something. But I'm actually putting force into this thing. But what the heck?
Eventually.
Okay, I got it out, but so I have no idea what it was stuck to, but. Okay, I can tell there's something sticky on this thing. That's weird. But not too damaged, so I guess it's fine for now. So there's the inside there. Got some photos, and it looks like it does have some background info. So, and the lyrics too, which is nice. But again, I don't really know a whole lot on this album. Regardless though, it's still nice to get another Kinks album for the collection, and there's even a full image on the back, which is kind of nice. But that is the first new addition to the collection, Muswell Hillbillies by The Kinks. And now we have some more progressive rock stuff, and this is a fairly well-known prog band. It's not like in the echelon prog bands, I would say, like your Yes and Genesis, but kind of just below them. But if you're in the know, you know. And the band is Camel. And I have a couple Camel albums already. I have Mirage, I have Moon Madness, and I even have Snow Goose. But here's a more late 70s album. It's called I Can See Your House From Here. And this came out in 1979 based on some slight research I did. Again, another album I don't really know the consensus of. So if you're a huge prog fan and you know Camel fairly well, please let me know your thoughts on this album in the comments. And of course, let me know your thoughts on any of these albums that I'm going to be showing here. But very simple disc on Dunram Records. Another prog album with a very spacey sort of theme. Okay, you open it up, gives you all the credits to who played on what. Not sure if this is like a instrumental album, because I know the Snow Goose is pretty much instrumental. So I'm not sure how this one will be. But I'm sure there's still going to be some nice playing. Really not much else to say, really, because, again, I don't know much about this album. Again, this is one of those where I'm really just buying on just kind of blindly, in a sense. Again, I'm only buying on name recognition, but there you go. Camel, I Can See Your House From Here. And now we have another prog album, and once again I bought it based on name recognition, and I don't know much on this album in particular, but the band is Caravan, and I have 3 Caravan CDs in the collection. I have, I know one of them is a very long title, I'm trying to look at it, but regardless, I'll just put all 3 album covers on the screen right now so you know which ones I have. So this is now my 4th one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is called Back to Front. So another kind of more late period. This is 82 it originally came out. So I'm diving into 80s Caravan. So I'll find out what I think of it. I know a lot of prog bands or a lot of prog fans are very divisive when their prog bands go into the 80s. Who knows? I might be pleasantly surprised. Open it up, not much to say on the inside, just give you some background info on some of the songs and credits and stuff. Pretty basic stuff. Not much to say on it really, but there you go, more Caravan for me. And these final 2 CDs I'm going to show are both from the same singer-songwriter, and that artist is Billy Joel. And I picked up The Bridge from 86, and I picked up, what is this called? River of Dreams. This came out in 93. So these are pretty much the final 2 Billy Joel albums I needed in the collection. I know there's this kind of classical album he put out in the early 2000s. Some of you might consider that part of the discography. Personally, I kind of I'm not really that interested on it really. But in terms of like the classic, shall we say, or classic Billy Joel, this is the last 2 I needed to get. And I know these albums aren't really like highly regarded compared to his earlier stuff, but you know, I might like some of the songs. It's a thick booklet. It's been a while since I've had like a thick booklet here, but this is The Bridge, by the way. I know I had a couple hits, and I know there's a song with Ray Charles, which is kind of cool. And then yeah, just got the lyrics, some photos, and it looks like Cyndi Lauper is a part of this too. But yep, there's that. I found the bridge. If you get the joke, you know the joke. But now we have River of Dreams. Again, another one where not really a lot of fanfare for it. But in terms of like the final, like traditional Billy Joel, you know, I guess it's based on what I've heard, it's not the worst way to go. Just another fold out type of thing. Got all of this, and then more of this on the other side. Let me just see if I can try to put it all back together. There we go. Show the disc one more time. But there we go. That is all the CDs I picked up. And it's good to have more kind of complete the Billy Joel discography. And now we get to the fun bits. We finally get to talk about the 2 vinyl records I picked up. So the first one I'm going to show is an album that's recently become a hot topic in my messenger group chats that I'm in. Shout out to the music junkies, of course. And the album that has become pretty highly talked about is going to be this one. And it's a pretty notable album from a fairly well-known band. We have the Guess Who. We got American Woman. Shout out to Scott from SoundLab Studios. He is very much a big fan of this album. And definitely for good reasons. It's a pretty good album from 1970. Really good like rock album from that time. Of course, you have Burton Cummings on vocals and Randy Bachman on guitar. And yeah, it's an excellent album. Of course, you have the title track, which is very classic. One of the most classic songs in their whole catalog. Probably the most well-known. It was the song on that. See if I can point to it. Don't know. There we go. Something like that. That ornament that no longer works. But anyway, that's a great song. Then there's No Time. Then we have No Sugar, semicolon, New Mother Nature, which is great. When Friends Fall Out, 8:15, Proper Stranger. Yeah, it's excellent. There's the back cover. And I'm gonna admit something. It was only till today I finally figured out what this album cover was supposed to be, because for so long I see the members and I'm like, okay, that's just a very interesting photo of the band. You got like a weird haze effect, but after getting the record and actually looking at it, it finally clicked that, oh, it's basically an image projected on a woman's face. So yeah, you can make fun of me for not getting it for so long, but yeah, I just now got it. It's one of the things that's good about records, is that the image is so big, you can actually make out things a lot better than on a CD or that little icon on Spotify or Apple Music. And I should also point out, I do have this on CD already. It's part of the 5-in-1 pack I own, but it was $5, so I might as well pick this up on record. So there we go. And then just quickly showcase the insides, what's included. I should point out, I guess one of the reasons why I got it for like cheaply is that, I'm not sure if you can notice, but there's actually tape on the edges. So there's tape all along here, a little bit of tape there, and then I think there's some on the bottom too. So I'm guessing there was some rippage, but I'm looking at it, it doesn't seem like it. It could be that they put tape just as a precaution, so I don't know. But I mean, you really don't notice it that much, so I'm not complaining. So we take this out. There's nothing else inside. They actually put the record in this kind of nice poly-lined inner sleeve. So there's some kind of poly plastic inside, which is heard is pretty good for the record. It's a little dusty, so I will need to clean it. But it looks fairly good condition, I must say. Just looking into the light. Yeah, I just gotta brush off the dust, and should play fairly well. So let me showcase. There's side 1, RCA Victor specifically, and then side 2. But awesome, very nice to get the Guess Who in the record collection. And we'll go ahead, we'll move on to the last record. For the final record I'm going to show, and honestly, it's actually a pretty special one for me. And this album needs no introduction. I picked up Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Now I should really get it out of the way. This is not an original copy. Honestly, I really wish I could have picked up an original Pet Sounds from 1966, but you know, prices for those things aren't always going to be in my wheelhouse. So I saw this and I might as well get it, because I mean, it's close enough, and it's a 50th anniversary, but it's also the mono version, because I know they made a stereo version, so at least the mono is slightly closer to the original, as close as you're going to get. But I at least gotta have Pet Sounds in here somehow. But you know, I'm not too upset. But anyway, like I said, it's a very special album. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. One of the most important albums in my music journey, and it just really opens more doors for me. And yeah, I can go more in depth, but yeah, I mean, it's one of the best albums ever made. I mean, it's highly regarded. I mean, the production, Brian Wilson is a genius. What need I say more? So anyway, this is actually brand new. It's still in the shrink wrap, and so I'm actually gonna go ahead and look inside this thing and see what else is in here. So my regular box cutter, I can't really find it for some reason, so I have to resort to just a simple razor blade. But anyway, let's go ahead and make a little incision here, just like so. I'm not going to take off the shrink wrap. I'm probably going to leave it on, so that way you can kind of keep the hype sticker too. Okay, there's the record. And does it have anything else? Nope. Nothing else. Okay, and then here it is once again, another kind of poly plastic lined sleeve here, which is nice. Let me take it out. Yep. Just heavy duty vinyl here. And here they replicated the Capitol Records logo that they probably had at the time, which is nice. But yeah, not much else to say. You kind of wish it had other stuff included, but you know, it's all about the music, I guess. But there it is. That is one of the best pickups here, I'd say. Pet Sounds from the Beach Boys. And like always, let's go ahead and recap, and we're gonna go in reverse order. So starting with the records first, we picked up Pet Sounds from the Beach Boys, and of course we also got American Woman from the Guess Who. We have Billy Joel, River of Dreams, Billy Joel, The Bridge, Caravan, Back to Front, Camel, I Can See Your House from Here, and we have, again, still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Munswell Hillbillies from the Kinks. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy these, once again, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Comment your thoughts on any of these records, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.